Hey there, fellow philosophers. Today, we're diving into the mind of one of the most influential and controversial thinkers in history, Friedrich Nietzsche. You've probably heard the name, maybe you've even heard the phrase, God is dead. But today, we're going deeper. Here are 12 things you probably didn't know about Nietzsche that will totally blow your mind. Part 1. The overlooked childhood genius. Born in 1844, Nietzsche was a child prodigy. He was reading classical literature by the time he was 5 and was composing music at 9. Imagine being that advanced, while most kids are still figuring out how to color inside the lines. I mean, talk about starting early on your legacy. Part 2. A friend of the famous. Did you know that Nietzsche was best buds with the world-famous composer Richard Wagner? Yeah, they bonded over a love for music and philosophy. But like all great philosophical friendships, it didn't last. More on that later. Part 3. He wasn't always a nihilist. Most people think Nietzsche was all about nihilism, but the truth is, he had a deeply hopeful side, especially early on in his career. He believed in the potential for humans to overcome and rise above adversity, creating their own values and meaning. The idea of the Übermensch, or the overman, isn't as dark as people think. Part 4. Health issues. The struggle behind the genius. Nietzsche's life wasn't easy. He battled with severe health issues most of his adult life. Migraines, poor eyesight, and gastrointestinal problems. Some historians even suggest he may have contracted syphilis, which contributed to his eventual mental collapse. Despite this, he kept writing, kept thinking, proving that some of the greatest minds push through even the worst circumstances. Part 5. His famous breakdown. Speaking of health problems, Nietzsche's mental breakdown is the stuff of legend. In 1889, in Turin, Italy, Nietzsche allegedly saw a horse being whipped. He threw his arms around the horse to protect it, broke down, and was never the same again. It's tragic, but it gives us a glimpse into Nietzsche's deep compassion for all life, even in the depths of his own despair. Part 6. God is dead. Wasn't what you think. Here's a big one. Nietzsche's famous declaration, God is dead, wasn't an attack on religion itself, but rather a critique of society's shifting values. He believed that with the decline of religion, humanity had lost its moral compass. Part 7. He wasn't just a philosopher. Many don't know this, but Nietzsche was also an accomplished poet and composer. His works are beautiful, haunting, and a far cry from the stern philosopher people often imagine. Who knew he could hit us with both the words and the tunes? Part 8. The breakup with Wagner. Remember Wagner? Well, their friendship didn't end on a good note. Nietzsche couldn't stand Wagner's growing obsession with Christianity and nationalism. Things got so bad that Nietzsche's book, The Case of Wagner, was basically a philosophical breakup letter. Part 9. The philosopher who hated universities. Nietzsche was one of the few philosophers who turned his back on academia. He was a professor by the age of 24, but he quit just 10 years later. He believed universities were stifling intellectual creativity. Guess Nietzsche wasn't a fan of school spirit. Part 10. Sister controversy. Elizabeth Nietzsche. After Nietzsche's death, his sister Elizabeth took control of his work. Unfortunately, she was involved in far-right politics, even associating with the Nazis. She edited and distorted Nietzsche's works to fit her agenda, leading to a lot of misunderstandings about his philosophy. Yep, some of the things you've heard about Nietzsche might actually be his sister's doing. Part 11. The Hermit Philosopher. After leaving his academic post, Nietzsche lived a solitary life, often writing in isolation in the Swiss Alps. He'd spend hours hiking, thinking, and writing, enjoying the solitude. He believed solitude was essential for deep thought. And let's be real, the views weren't bad either. Part 12. Posthumous Fame. Nietzsche died in 1900. But it wasn't until years later that his work gained widespread recognition. Today, he's considered one of the most influential philosophers of all time. From existentialism to postmodernism, Nietzsche's ideas still resonate. His legacy just keeps growing. So, what did you think? Did we blow your mind with these Nietzsche facts? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed learning about this philosophical icon. And remember to subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest minds. Until next time, stay curious,